Good afternoon. We're coming to you from the Broncos Great Magistrates Court here in Swane, where the 9 accused have finally made their first appearance here in the courtroom. This is in regards to the diamond scam that was currently ongoing since 2019. And one of the main accused, the conspirator and mastermind behind him, is Liebenberg. And we saw him here in court with his wife. They were both nabbed in Benoni on a Tuesday evening in a restaurant. They just the two in the group of 9 that were arrested, among them various others that were part of this alleged syndicate who's apparently scammed people out of almost 236 million rand. It's believed that they ran a scam where they would post on social media alleging that they were selling a specific raw and unpolished diamonds and that people could invest in them, and it was a lucrative business. However, they never really lived up to that demand. We spoke to some of the victims earlier, and I want to bring in someone who's been working with many of the other victims who are here in court today. Philip, you've been working with many of the victims since 2022. We're here in court. The accused are in front of court. How are the victims feeling? Let's start with what is that sentiment when they saw him in court here today, along with the co-accused?
Well, I've seen quite a few of them outside, and a lot of them were in here earlier. They wanted to say their peace of mind to him because they see he's now in court and they can say what they feel. But the thing is, they might be angry today, but how this thing has affected most of the victims' lives are devastating. I've been talking to people who had family members that commit suicide because of losing so much money here. I've been talking to elderly people who lost their entire pensions because of the scheme. I have been talking to a man whose daughter had cancer. He couldn't pay for a treatment, but he had a few 100,000 rands within the scheme. So these are the type of people that we are looking at. And the other thing that we need to realize here is that the target audience of this scheme is really your low-income people. It's not high-income people. High-income people will never invest in a scheme like this. Well, some might be, but I mean the vast majority were low-income. And these people are just devastated. They are happy that he's finally facing justice in court. And I think all of them are very much hopeful that he might get sentenced to life in prison because racketeering will carry that sentence. But they money-wise, I think most of them made peace with the fact that they're probably never going to see that money again.
When we speak on the scam, we understand that they were using social media. Can you, from your interactions with the victims, explain to us how exactly they got involved in the scam and even invested multiple times sometimes in the scam?
I think the best way to compare this is to gambling, to be honest with you, because mostly how these people get their money, they get paid out 100% profit within 6 weeks. But that only happens sometimes. Other times they don't get paid out anything. So I think when these people get drawn into it, maybe by friends and maybe by seeing this opportunity on social media, because massive promises were made. They were promised the world. They were promised something that's completely ridiculous, especially in the mining industry, which I research, where the profit margin is usually between 2 and 5%. They are being promised 100% profit margin in 6 weeks. And then they invest their money and they get that 100% the first time they invest, every time. And then they invest again and they don't get any money. And then Mr. Liebenberg was extremely manipulative on his social media. He would say things like, if you do not support me publicly, I am not going to pay out your money. Now he's already sitting with the people's money, and now he's manipulating them by saying, if you don't support me publicly, I'm not paying your money. And in that way, he created this false collective sense on social media of everyone is so happy with Mr. Liebenberg, and then people would read through the comments and they would say, well, this guy looks legit, everyone is just praising him the whole time. And that's how they get sucked in. Something else I realized from many of these people is they would usually invest 5,000-10,000 rands on their first time, and then it would pay back 100% profit. And then their second time they would invest 100,000, 150,000 rands, whatever, usually all the money that they have, because they think this is safe, it's paying out, so I can put everything in here that I have. And that's usually when they don't get paid out.
We're here in court today. We've seen him here again in court. What do you hope? You spoke about, the life sentence, but going forward, what would you hope that will be put into place, that there aren't scams like this that, prey on the most vulnerable?
There's always going to be scams like this. I've done a lot of work over the past 2 years trying to educate people on the signs to look for within a fraudulent scheme. What are the signs that this scheme seems to be suspicious? But still, people want to believe because they are desperate. Most of these people, as I said, are from low-income houses. And another factor that you really need to look at is the fact that this scheme really popped off in 2020 during COVID. Many people lost their jobs, many people lost all of their income, and they were absolutely desperate, and then they see this guy on Facebook promising them 100% return, and they just give him all they have because they lost all hope already.
That was Willem Pector, one of the organizations who are assisting and been working with the victims here. What we know from what we've heard from Willem is just the science behind the scam that was going, how people were sucked in, but also Liebenberg as his own personality that attracted these clients and victims to his scams. We saw in court today when he came in here really showing his support to former President Jacob Zuma, screaming out in court into the gallery saying Viva MK as well as Viva Msholozi. He's been speaking to us when we asked. He said thank you for the media for making him famous. So really showing his personality, not one who's been shy. I want to ask Nkosi to just give you a sense of the other accused that are here. There are some of the women. They form part of the 9 accused who are currently facing charges, almost 42 counts, including that of racketeering, theft, money laundering and fraud. These are all Schedule 5 crimes, and they are all currently going through their bail process. What we know right now, and what I can tell you, is that 3 of the accused have currently been going through their bail process. The state says they will not be opposing their bail application. So we heard their bail process starting. The state says it will be opposing the others, that is including Liebenberg's bail. That is what we're going to hear when we come back from this recess that we're having, a short recess that's on till 2:20. When the magistrate does return, we're told that we'll hear whether or not the 3 that applied for their bail unopposed by the state, whether that was granted to them and at what price they would get to be released. This matter is ongoing, and we'll continue to keep you updated.